Troy, I'm an actor.
Wrong. You're an assassin.
Oh my god. Fuchs!
Welcome to the Review, a show where two small-town dudes give your big, dumb opinions. Today, we are going all over Season 1 of Barry. From HBO.
Yeah.
Home box office.
Yeah, it's not TV.
It's HBO.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
what the fuck?
we said that right up top.
What's your problem, man?
This series I was not reluctant to watch, but you have been touting its greatness
I'm telling you right now.
for a while.
My favorite new TV show of last year.
And so I dove into it for the show,
Yeah.
and I mean, I
You
usually
still have an opinion?
have the same taste. Close. Well, you know what?
Pretty close.
I
We've
would
had
say
some
it's
times
fairly
where
close, but you skew a little bit more, maybe avant-garde than I usually do.
yeah, I'm usually a little more how you say art house.
And I'm just
I don't
like,
divulge
fuck
it.
art.
I don't divulge in much in the French films like you do, Troy, but I mean,
Right.
I try.
Right. But I would say we agree on Barry. Our opinion would be closely
Really?
similar.
Really?
Um,
You're giving it away already.
Well, I mean, we've been friends for a while. We have
Okay.
a little bit of the same taste.
Okay.
We'll get into it.
We'll get it. Okay,
We will get into it.
Fair enough.
So why don't we just start, JT? It premiered episode 1 March 25th of last year, 2018.
Yes.
On HBO. Rotten Tomatoes has this at 99%. High acclaim.
I mean, well regarded.
Yeah. IMDb has that at 8.1 out of 10, and TV.com has that at 8.4 out of 10.
Pretty high
Yes.
steam all the way through.
That's right. This series, season 1, has won 2 Emmys.
Henry Winkler won for Best Supporting Actor, I
Yes,
saw.
and Hader winning for Best Lead Actor.
Really?
Yes.
I forgot about those. Shit.
Yes. Let me just give you a synopsis.
Okay, yeah, that's right. This is your tour de force. Is
That's
the
right.
Monday shows.
So Bill Hader plays the titular Barry,
Yeah.
and he is a hitman who, on one of his assignments, stumbles into an acting class that his target is also in,
Yeah.
and falls a little bit in love with the art of acting, thespianism, if
Yeah.
that is a word,
Yes.
which I do not think it is, but I made it up just now.
Yeah.
And then wants to have a bit of change of heart and get out of he wants to, quote, quit the business of hitmanning and pursue a newfound love of acting.
Yes.
And there you have Barry. Now,
Bada bing, bada boom, got a berry.
the synopsis that I gave makes it sound like a bit of like maybe a comedy.
Yeah.
And granted, there are very funny elements of
Yeah.
this series.
Or like a fish out of water type of, what's this guy gonna... Oh my god, this guy's gotta kill people and he's over here trying to be an actor. This is crazy.
But I want to say this series rides a few lines.
Oh, yeah.
I would say first and foremost, it's like a bit of like a drama.
Yeah.
But it also is a very lighthearted one because there's comedy in it, and there's also pretty decent action in it as well.
Damn, yeah. Some violent ass action in
Yeah.
this.
You get more of a backstory on Barry as a few episodes go on, and so you kind of get like a fit for what he's been in before this, and I feel like that's handled very well. All the supporting cast kind of grows as other characters as well, and you get to feel for all of them. And I feel like it's a very strong outing and a very like just for the length of it alone, I feel like the length of it is perfect.
Yeah.
now that we've been doing this show forever and I'm getting older, my favorite thing now is like seeing a movie that's 90 minutes and I'm like, fuck yes. But this is 8 20-minute parts, and that's the whole first season.
Yeah. Well,
Or,
like
well,
more
30
30
minute,
yeah.
30-minute parts.
But the thing I like the most about this is that, like, they're 30 minutes, but they fit so much in that 30 minutes that it feels way longer than it is.
Yeah.
There's
but
sometimes...
you never feel like it's too much.
No. Like, every time me and Molly watched this when it first came out, I was like, that felt like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But it just felt like an hour. It wasn't like an hour because it, like, felt like it took forever. It felt like an hour because they will pack so much into one episode where it's like, there's no way in fuck that they got away with presenting that much stuff in a half hour.
Yeah. And I really think it's written very intelligently.
Yeah.
They do a lot of things where they set things up for things to happen later. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, that was really smart why they did this so it can happen or have like an occurrence further down the line where this is like a big deal now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness. Everything they thought... I don't know how long Bill Hader was thinking about doing this.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he had everything worked out in this first season. Him and... I can't remember the co-writer or co-creator of it.
Yeah, I can't either.
I
know. I think it's like a friend of his too, even.
Yeah. But it seems like they had everything they wanted to do. They fit very well, at least in this first season.
Yeah. I even going back and watching it like when it first came out, like there's so many things they allude to even like in the first episode where it's like even like down to like Fuchs just being like talking about how like you can't make both these things work, and him just like being defiant where it's like I can make both of these work, and it's just like you see how impossible it is as it goes on, where it almost turns him into something that he wasn't in the very beginning.
Yeah, it gave me like a feeling of like a lighter-hearted Dexter, but like he's not like a serial killer. He's like a hitman.
Yeah.
So it was like it's kind of like gave me like also like Breaking Bad vibes a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's not like a bad guy either.
It's almost like it's like a reverse Breaking Bad where he starts out as a terrible person and he's trying to do good.
But even then, like a terrible person in quotes because he is taking out bad people.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like,
as much as he knows though.
Well, I yeah, sure.
Like, I feel like he had no agency up to this point.
Right. Well, that's brought up in the show. It's
Yeah.
like, after he left the service,
Yeah.
like, he was kind of like, well, I was kind of good at that, and now I don't really know how to acclimate back into real life. And so, like, he had this opportunity to kind of do this kind of thing that was, I'm not going to say similar to being in the Marines, but it's like, doing something that he was eventually was good at.
He was kind of seduced by like Fuchs, where it was like, look, you can either go into the workforce and not know if you'll be a success, or you can already do this thing you know you're good at and
make great money,
make a shit ton of fucking money.
Uh-huh.
Where it's like even like people when he like brings up like the deal he has with Fuchs, every time he brings up to someone, they're like, "That's a shitty deal, man." Like he's fucking you, he's fucking you over. Like every time he brings it up. Where like, he was so naive when he first got into it, like, but yeah, it's perfect where it's like now he's kind of matured to a point where it's like I don't want to do this anymore, but it's like I feel like the thing the show does the best is it like keeps asking the question, can he really have a normal life after all the things that he's done?
Right, and I like that he wouldn't even have thought about this really unless he stumbled into this acting class.
Yeah.
Because with that comes like a bunch of like revelations to him that he's never really had to think about before.
Yeah.
So like his target that he goes to eliminate to even get to this point eventually passes away. Well, pass away. He dies. He gets murdered.
He's murdered.
But not by Barry.
Yeah.
I'll get to that in a second. But like he sees like the aftermath of that, of like being grieved by friends and family.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've never really thought about this end.
He never sticks around long enough to see the aftermath of what he does.
And with that, like, comes like an almost PTSD for him.
Yeah.
That he, I guess, never really let himself feel, because he's always just kind of like in this zone
Yeah.
all the time. Whereas like now he's like seeing consequences of his actions, and now he's kind of like, oh shit, like it's making me not want to do this at all, and it makes me feel like a completely different person.
Well, even before that, like he does the scene with the guy that he's supposed to kill.
Mm-hmm.
He does that scene with him where like he kind of gets stuck into it because like he wanders in the acting class and he's like, "Hey, you want to be my partner for this?" Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And he does it, and then after he does it, people applaud, and that takes him back, where he's like feeling like people like appreciating what he did.
Right, just minor adulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it feels like he's never been in a situation where people actually appreciated what he did.
Yeah. And so that like turns a whole new leaf for him, like in almost every aspect of his life.
Yeah.
And he wants out of being a hitman. He wants a part of this acting bug now.
Yeah.
Even though he's like, he never really is shown to be like a great actual actor.
Yeah. The second time around watching this, like I've come to the conclusion that Barry's not a good actor.
No.
It's just that he's drawing from experiences that no one else has come in contact with.
Right.
That's like making him different from everyone else. And that's what's like convincing everyone else that he is a good actor.
Right.
And I love that about it.
Right.
Where like people are like, Mike, you went somewhere with that scene. It's like, yeah, he went because he just fucking murdered somebody. Like,
Yeah.
But I love that shit where it's like it draws on like that shit that you always complain about with like method acting.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
especially Henry Winkler as that Kusino.
Yeah.
Like his whole class is method acting where it's
Yeah.
like you got to draw from something. You need to be in this moment where I'm like watching it where I'm like, I bet Troy fucking hates this guy.
Well, like, so what was funny about, like, not even funny, but like what's great about like every episode of this, minus like a few of them, is that there's like a behind the scenes look with Bill Hader and the other co-creator.
Yep, yeah.
And they give like behind the scenes of like what they were going for with some of these characters.
Yeah.
And like I love that they kind of turned around on Fuchs, because they said in the first episode they were like, no, he's just gonna straight up be a bad guy.
Yeah.
But we changed that because then there's really nowhere for his character to go.
Yeah.
And so they changed it a little bit to make him a little more likable, and
Yeah.
so he can finally get to the point where he is at the end of the series. And like even like Henry Winkler, he is kind of like a shitbag of a dude from right off the bat, but then you end up kind of like growing to like him when he's trying to like spark a relationship
Oh
with
my
this
God.
agent.
That shit that he does with that fucking agent is amazing.
It's so good.
Like he seems like he's gonna get off when she kicks him in the balls.
Yes, yes.
He's just like, oh, mama.
So good.
Yeah, but no, he's so good because it's like another thing I love about this show is that on top of this really cool multi-layered story that they bring with Barry, where he's like a man trying to get out of the profession that he's only known, they do like this really cool critique on like Hollywood and like acting in general.
Yeah.
Like especially like down to how like, the whole thing of like where actors feel like they know everything about everything.
Yeah.
Where, like I love all that shit where like these agents come in and they're like they bring in like this blurry photo of Barry where it's like, does anyone know, like, can you kind of like maybe know like if someone stands like this, or if you kind of know like if someone that might kind of look like this? And they're like, well, I did this scene once where we used a machine to enhance the photo. Can you enhance it? I'm like, no, that's not how
that doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. It's like everything like the acting class is so fucking funny because they literally are like, I always had this idea about Hollywood where it's like actors are put in so many scenarios where they play someone who does this, that they feel like they know everything.
Right.
And they do that with this too, where it's like they feel like they know everything about everything. Like even down to when like Barry they have this like discussion with Barry where they're like, oh, well, people that murder people are psychopaths.
Oh,
where
yeah.
where like he's just like, well, no, they're not. Like, no, they are. Where it's like, he's getting pissed. Like, they're fucking not. Not all.
That was one of my favorite parts of the
Yeah.
series. Was that little that little
Like,
confrontation.
he's being talked down to and being told what's right by these people that have no idea what he's gone through.
Right.
And it's driving him fucking crazy. And I feel like that's why people have like this resentment towards Hollywood, where they're always chiming in and being like, well, this is how this goes because I played this character once. Where it's like,
Right.
you played a fucking character to this. You didn't do what I did.
Yeah.
And like, I love that they like comment on that with this.
Yeah, I really liked that scene in general. I really liked that whole thing where they're talking about Macbeth, and Macbeth is like kind of like taking orders to like murder somebody, and they're trying to like say like, if you murder somebody, you're a fucking lunatic or
Yeah.
whatever. And he's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And like not really alluding to the fact that like he like had to do that while he was in the service or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he ends up breaking out saying like, so I'm a fucking lunatic because I was in the military and had to kill people.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. And they're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And they totally like recant on everything they just said.
But then they still chime in where it's like, well, if you kill someone outside of war, you're a fucking lunatic. Where it's still...
That's still...
it still
him.
stabs him in the back a little bit. Where
Right.
it's like, we still need to chime in that you are a fucking lunatic.
But I really loved that aspect of Barry, where he has this like conflicted feeling because he did do these things like in Afghanistan and stuff. Like he was in the service, and I like this the PTSD angle that they kind of come at, the angle they come at it from him.
Yeah.
Like not maybe the only other person that I get that from is like his other friend that has like the kid.
Oh, God. Oh, I can't wait to talk about him.
But
he's
like the
fucking
other
awesome.
kind of like Marine people in there are kind of just like meathead, like
Yeah.
like they don't necessarily like fulfill this whole thing that I'm trying to get at. But like I really like the way Barry plays it as being like a previous military member. Just that's not it. Like he previously was in the Marines, and like a lot of things weigh on him, and now like he's in this world that he isn't really he's not really understood by anybody else, especially in like a super liberal Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's surrounded by people that feel like they know everything.
Yeah.
And I love that about it. Like, and they even use like the girl that he ends up dating, Sally. They use her to show like how fucked like Hollywood processes are done in general.
Yeah.
They'll do scenes where they show her going out and trying to get TV roles and movie roles.
Yep.
And it's just, there's some scenes where it's just full out petty ass shit.
Yeah.
Where like she gets put into a scenario where she's trying out for a scene that could literally change her life.
Right.
And it's just because this chick that she was in an acting class with that didn't like her, like wanted her to come in so she could rub it in her face that she got the role, and just wanted to see her try out for it, knowing that she would never get it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, man, Hollywood's like fucking high school in some scenarios.
Yeah.
And even down to where like they show like some sneaky ass shit where some guy tries to fuck her who's like a Hollywood agent, where it's like, well, either you're a good actress or I'll sleep with you. Oh, I'm just kidding. Right? And it's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to sleep with you. Oh, okay. And then just doesn't fucking... Or
Yeah.
it's just like that
And
feeler
then he
where
ends
it's
up
like...
dropping her.
Yeah.
Even though he's
it's
like
that
plays it off
feeler
as a
where
joke.
it's like, well, I don't want to get fucking put with a sexual harassment thing.
Right.
So I'm just going to like joke that I want to fuck you, and then if you don't bite, then I'm just going to fucking throw you to the curb.
Right. All that stuff, like all the like auditions and stuff she went on were painful. But like I can only imagine are so true.
Especially like I feel like this all this shit came out even before all of the Weinstein stuff too. Yeah, like I remember watching this where I'm like, oh yeah, that feels pretty true to life. And then like the Weinstein stuff came out like I think that summer, where it's like, oh fuck, it's very true to life. but it's so. But then, like, because I remember when
there's less jerking off in a fern.
Yeah, that's Louis C.K. I think. But yeah, like I remember when the show first started, I was like, I'm not really digging the Sally character. Like, yeah, I can see like she seems kind of like airheaded and kind of like just kind of like goes with the flow and like very like, oh yeah, well we do this and whatever. But then like you see like what she goes through when she goes to these like TV auditions and stuff, and you can see why she's kind of flighty and like why she's like sometimes like kind of a bitch in certain areas where it's like you have every right to be like, even like when like the whole thing when like Barry's like trying to like be nice to her where it's like, what do you want from me? Or it's like, yeah, because you're surrounded by men that are just constantly looking for some kind of physical like reason to give you something.
Yeah,
where it's like, yeah, I don't doubt you for not trusting men, because
right.
you're surrounded by dudes all the time that are just treating you like fucking shit because they're like
pieces of shit.
Yeah, like, okay, what can I get out of you? Like, ugh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm surprised this show got made because it makes Hollywood look like a fucking piece of shit.
And some aspects of it, yeah, it does. And like, well, what I think it does amazing is just like shed light on that, which I guarantee Hader and all the writers of the show are drawing off real life experiences.
Most definitely.
But like,
oh, give me a beer.
You got it. Here it comes.
Here it comes.
And then also, like, I want to know if they were consulted by like any like real military personnel.
Yeah.
Because like, not only does like the PSD feel genuine from Bill Hader, but like I also feel like the action in this feels true to life. I mean, there is like a raid kind of part of it where I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like Hollywood action-y a little bit.
Yeah.
But like even like the Hitman stuff, even though some of it's kind of sometimes played for laughs, some of it's like kind of absurd.
Yeah.
It's not like over the top. It's like pretty toned down and realistic.
Yeah.
And I really like even in the first episode where he's going for that hit off the guy in the acting class. Turns out it's already been done. And I like Barry comes face to face with the person who assassinated the guy.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's played off as like the Chechens, which I'll get to in a second.
Fuck, yeah.
Are kind of bumbling through something, and he's just like, dude, don't point that gun at me. And he's like, I know I'm fucking good with a gun. Like, don't even try to play with me right now. Ends up pointing that gun at him, and Barry just unloads off and like takes out everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit. Like, he's not fucking around.
But that's like an ongoing trend through like most of the series. Like every time he comes in contact with someone where it's like, that's a very viable option. Like, it's almost like the only option. Like, you can see him throwing in small things throughout the conversation to try and talk them out of going where he knows they're about to go.
Yeah.
And that's what I love the most about it. Like there, like, it doesn't seem like that big of a deal because he is in contact with a cold-blooded killer.
Yeah.
But as the show goes on, he comes in contact with more and more people where it's like, they're mostly innocent throughout this whole thing, but they're putting you in a situation where it's like, you're pushing me to this being my only option.
Yeah.
And he's like, the more it goes on and like the more innocent the people end up being, the more desperate he seems to be when he's like, don't push me to this level.
Yeah. Well, because that even becomes like a common thread, like near the end where he's like, I want out, and it starts now. Like, he resets half dozen times.
Yeah, I love that shit. Yeah, I'm hoping that's like an ongoing trend throughout the whole series, where it's like every season ends with him saying "and now."
Yes,
where it never ends.
Yeah,
and I love that shit. Where it's like Barry feels like such a tragic character, where like all he wants is a normal life, but he's so far gone that it's never possible.
I love that crux of his character.
Yeah.
So the Chechens,
yes,
may be my favorite group of people.
NoHo Hank. I am in love with NoHo Hank so much.
He's the one who played, if you don't...
He was in Gotham.
Yeah, he played Victor Zsasz in Gotham. And, like, I immediately recognized him as that, and I'm like, oh my god. I don't know him from anything else, but, like, he looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
He must have alopecia or something, because...
he has no hair.
He has no hair at all on him, but he is fucking amazing in this. Like, I don't remember too much of him in Gotham. I thought he was, like, a decent Victor Zsasz, I guess. But
he was just kind of like a brooding, like, I'm gonna kill you kind of character.
From what our whole review was for that whole season, if any listeners are still on board from that,
from Gotham,
but I thought he was maybe the strongest part of what I could remember.
So happy,
but he is so great in this. All the Chechnyans in this are amazing.
Like, spoiler alert, I'm pretty sad that Goran is killed at the end of this, because the scenes between NoHo Hank and Goran are my favorite.
Yeah.
They are so...
I also love how Goran is, like, trying to be this big, like, kind of mob boss figure, but he's, like, running it out of his house, and, like, his daughter's having sleepovers and stuff, and his wife will bust in and be like, oh, we need to be quiet now, because daughter's having sleepover.
Yeah. They like, bookend it where it's, like, the first episode, they have a scene where someone wanders in the living room, and, like, the daughter's having a sleepover, and all these girls are watching, like, Jonas Brothers on the TV.
Yeah.
And then the last episode, like, Fuchs walks in, and there's, like, everyone cleaning guns on the exact same couches where everyone was watching Justin Bieber. Yeah. Where it's like, god damn it, what a fucking weird life this guy leads.
But I love it. And every time they were on screen, they just, like, they stole the show for me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, like, Barry's great in this. Everyone's great in this.
Yeah.
But, like, the Chechnyans are so fun.
NoHo Hank will steal a scene just by Facebook messaging Barry.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to be on screen.
Yeah, he'll just, like, send, like, did this, sad face emoji.
Or he'll send, like a fucking bitmoji of himself.
Yeah, like a bitmoji of himself being like, whoops.
It was so, like, I am so glad that I'm assuming they're going to see more of him in season 2.
I saw, like, trailers for the second season, and he's, like, a big part of season 2, it looks like.
So good.
NoHo Hank is the fucking best. He is so goddamn, he's, like, so chipper about everything.
And I love that he just loves Barry also.
Yeah, there's that scene where him and Fuchs are, where it looks like Barry might be dead, and him and Fuchs are just kind of like reminiscing about him. And, like, NoHo Hank is laying in a car like a teenage girl, like, playing with, like, the collar of his shirt, like, talking about, like, how much he misses Barry, or it's like, this guy's got a crush on Barry.
Yeah.
I fucking love that shit. Like, he's acting like a teenage girl talking about Barry.
Oh my god, he's so good.
Yeah, NoHo Hank is fucking awesome.
Oh. So good. And then, Fuchs, this actor's in a ton of stuff. He's like Milton in Office Space.
Yeah, I'll look up his name.
I really like his character in this too, and I like the way that
Stephen Root.
Yes, they ended up giving him more to do, I guess, in the season for what they originally had written, because they had him written as like, he's just gonna be kind of like Barry's almost like informant, like a guy in the chair type deal, and he's gonna be just like a bad dude, like right off the bat. And granted, he's not like a great dude, but they gave him a little bit more to do, and I really actually liked where his character was going.
He's almost like bad in the sense that he keeps pulling Barry back into the world of being a hitman,
right? Yeah,
where it's like when he finds an out, like Fuchs is the one that's like, well, we got this opportunity to make a fuck ton of money with this job, so I'll, like, volunteer you for this without you knowing, so that when you feel like you're officially out, you're back in because I already set this job up.
Right, yeah. I just like him as an actor. Anytime he's in something, I really usually like it.
Oh yeah,
it's usually kind of like
pan shot.
He's usually always kind of plays like the same kind of person.
Yeah,
but I never get sick of it.
Yeah.
So he's great in it.
Okay, so the grossest scene of torture I've probably ever seen.
I was just gonna talk about this. Yes.
The grossest scene of torture I've probably ever seen was when they have Fuchs in a chair and they take a file and they run it across his teeth.
Yes.
And then they get to a point where he spits out part of his teeth where I'm like,
yeah.
Oh.
He just spits out like nasty teeth powder.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God.
Know. It's the most cringeworthy thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, oh
my God. Just thinking about it is fucking freaking me out. Can you, oh my God.
Yeah, he gets like, as Fuchs, he gets his fucking shit rocked throughout this whole thing.
Mostly his mouth, because later on he gets teeth punched out.
Yeah, there's like a scene where there's like a scene where he's like, oh man, Barry punched me in the mouth and this one tooth was loose, and this guy comes up and punches him in the face until it falls out.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn it!
Like, almost at any given point in time, Fuchs is just nastily bruised across his face.
Yeah, I know.
But
like at the end when Barry drops off at the airport, I'm surprised that the security guard wasn't like, "Did he hurt you?"
Yeah, sir, you look fucked
Yeah,
up.
we
can't let you board this plane.
Yeah, his face looks like beaten up meat.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my goodness! But so the ending of this kind of coalesces in like there's this big stage play that they're planning to do Macbeth.
Well, yeah, they're doing like they're doing like a collection of Shakespeare like sonnets or whatever.
Right. And so Sally wants to play actually Macbeth, not Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
To like branch out and like try to impress like agents and stuff. And she has like this whole run and like a whole thing to prove to herself that she can do this.
Yeah.
While Barry is like coming back from like an assassination mission gone wrong.
No, yeah. Like I fucking love, like, this is like the first time you see where Barry convinces himself that he can make all this work, and then he's put in a situation where he has to like kill someone who is a legit innocent person.
Yeah. That was hard
to
see.
The guy that plays I think his name's Chris in the show. He's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I've seen him in other things too, but like he was really great in this.
Like the scene when like I love that whole scene when cuz they're putting a thing where one of the meathead like Marine guys, Taylor, is like, let's just fucking kill these dudes.
Yeah, bum rush them,
motherfucker. And they like come in and they get like fucking shot down or whatever, and then they have to like run away. And the Chris guy is like, well, we gotta go to the cops, and he's just like, he can't let it go.
Right.
And he's like, well, I don't care what you say, I'm gonna go to the cops no matter what you say. And he's like, oh fuck, man. And like he gets to that point where like Barry just yells, why did you say that? And then you get to that point where it's like, oh fuck, yeah, you pretty much left him with no choice. Because it's like, even if you do let him go and he promises he won't say anything, he's already said he's gonna go to the cops. So right. like at this point, he could be just saying something to get away from you.
Right.
So it's like, that's such a perfect scene where it's like, once he says that I'm going to go to the cops no matter what you say, he's already made up his mind that he can't let him go. And you're like, oh, fuck. And you're just waiting for, like, even like a scene where like just a van drives by where he can't do it right away. So you have to like listen to like Chris beg for his life even longer than usual. Where you're like, oh, fuck.
Because you think it's kind of gonna come like right there while like Barry's like riled up.
See, I don't know. I thought it was gonna. I thought he was like, I knew right when he was like, why did you say that? Where it's like, man, he's gonna die. It doesn't matter.
Well,
what he
I kind of
says.
thought that too, but then like almost like enough time, and because the tension kind of built a little bit, and then it just went on just long enough. Where it's like, all right, maybe they've calmed down. Like, he's kind of like backpedaling on what he said. And then...
But even when he was backpedaling, like, Barry saw that look on his face where it's like, I'm just waiting for the right moment to do this because I can't let you go.
Yeah, and I can't remember what Barry said. He's like, oh, let's get out of here. And then he goes to grab the wheel, and then Barry puts his hands on the wheel and pulls out a gun and just blows him away.
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
and they stay there the whole time where like he's like, no. And it's just like blasts out like a big hole in like the window. You're like, oh fuck. Like it's so... The thing about this show is that like they do things where it's like they comment on like Hollywood things that are fake so that like the things that could feel realistic feel even more realistic.
Yeah.
Like even down to where like the whole cop case against Barry where it's like you can see like the cops are just they're following like proper procedure to where it's like they're totally off of Barry's trail.
Yeah.
Where like any other kind of show would be like, we're so close to getting Barry. We're so close to arresting him. Where they're like, for the exception of just that other cop, like no one else could give a shit less about Barry. Like they have their mindset on what the case is, and they're gonna go down that path.
Right, and Barry is an intelligent hitman and has alibis for everything. So like when they question him for like maybe being that shrouded quote Bigfoot figure in that nasty stupid looking photo, they're like, oh no, well he's got an alibi, so like whatever, which I thought was really played off really well.
Oh yeah, the box of phones.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty fun. And then and so when he's off the hook, it's just like, well, he's kind of got away with all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Henry Winkler dating that detective,
yeah,
it would have pretty much been case closed.
Yeah. I love like that last scene in the last episode where they'll do like a small thing here and there throughout all the episodes where he's kind of imagining what life would be like if he was with Sally and like they did have like a family together and stuff. So like that last scene when like it's him and Sally like really happy together in this cabin.
Yeah.
Like it takes you a while before you realize, oh shit, this isn't one of his visions of them together.
Real life.
Which makes it even better when what goes down because it's like even if he does like live up to that perfect life that he has in his mind, shit's still gonna go wrong.
Yeah.
Like that's why I love that so much where it's like, oh, this is another vision. Oh, it's not a vision. Oh, he's happy. Oh, fuck, he still did this.
Yeah.
Despite being happy.
Right. And when all that shit goes down, I love that the very end shot of this like mirrors his first daydream where he's like laying in bed with Sally.
Yeah.
Except it's like a darker version of it.
Yeah, it's him realizing all the terrible shit he has to do to maintain this.
Yeah. Because now he's like fucking in deep.
Yeah.
Like he's dug himself such a hole.
Yeah.
That now it feels like a Breaking Bad situation. Like, how the fuck are you going to get out of this?
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like a guy that's like, okay, if I just do this one thing, then I'll be good.
Yep.
But it's one of those things where it's like, well, no, there's going to be other things. You don't want to admit to yourself that there's going to be more things in the future.
Right.
But you're convincing yourself, this thing, then I'm done. But then something else happens. Like, okay, then this thing, and then I'm done.
Yep.
And it feels like that's going to be Barry's life for the rest of his life until he ultimately dies or fucks something up to where he goes to prison.
Yep.
And it's like, that's like such a tragic character.
I know.
I love it, but I love it so much. Well, for those that haven't seen it, like the detective that's dating the Kusino is like with them at the cabin. Like it's her, Kusino, and then it's Barry and Sally. And like he's just... small things are being dropped here and there where it's like, that's kind of shady. That's different.
Right.
To where she actually looks up something where it shows that Barry was part of this all along. And then they have this whole thing where like he's doing like, you don't have to do this kind of thing again. Where it's like even more bad because she's a fucking cop.
Uh-huh.
And he has like a pistol set up to where like he just ultimately ends up killing her.
Yep.
That's
great.
Yeah. It's so fucking good. Like, you're with him all the way through, so you're rooting for him all along, but he's put in situations where it's like, you're rooting for him, but it's like, I can see the other person's point on
Yeah.
why.
But
They-
because they even like quote solve the case
Yeah.
of the murder of all these people
Yeah.
as best as the evidence can be put together.
Yeah.
But like this lady, even though like I guess the case is closed, still has like her hackles up a little bit, especially when
Yeah.
um
Like she knows something involves the acting class.
right. And so when Henry Winkler like lets like a piece of information out about Barry
Yeah.
on like on the first
Like his first day
episode.
there, like he went up to him and was like, "Well, I used to be a hitman and stuff like that," and he just thought it was like a piece that he was
A
improvising.
ridiculous improv, yeah.
And then she was like, "Oh, well, that's a little similar to what we thought."
Well, yeah, but she doesn't even really let on. She's just like,
No, it's perfect where it's
Yep.
like you can kind of see in her eyes that she's like suspecting something, but she doesn't want to give herself away.
right,
Or like you can see like when Barry's looking at her, like he's waiting for like this big reaction, and she's like kind of holding back.
Yeah.
Where it's like, man, there's something there.
right, yeah, like nobody is giving anything away. And then when everyone like goes to bed, she's like looking up Barry on Facebook to see like if
Yeah.
she has like similar photos or whatever of these people that he finds
well,
like
she looked up her other name, his real name,
yeah,
but his stage name is Barry Block, so she looked that up and then like pieced all this shit together that all these people that were involved in this big fucking hit were connected to him.
right. And so she figures that out like out on the like I don't know why she went outside.
To probably get out of the house in case he was to come downstairs.
Well, I suppose, but I mean, she could have been like in bed just looking this up with like fucking Henry Winkler or whatever.
I don't know.
And anyway,
it'd be weird if Henry Winkler woke up and like, why are you looking up my fucking student?
Oh, well, I don't know. It's like I'm gonna add him as a friend on Facebook, like
Yeah.
whatever. Regardless, it was just a reason to get her outside by the lake.
Yeah.
But I loved that whole scene.
It's so
It's so good.
I know that's what I loved. Like you said, it has a very Breaking Bad vibe to it, but
Yep.
it's like it feels like a reverse Breaking Bad, where it's like a man that's been in a shitty occupation is trying to get out of it, but now,
All the shit's just
Yeah.
dragging him back into it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the main reason why it's one of my favorite shows of last year.
Yeah, it's a really good show. It's
Yeah.
really smart.
yeah,
Like things that they just drop in like an earlier episode will come up again as like, oh, like that comes into play again.
How small the Bolivians are.
Yeah, just like even little things, just like throwaway jokes like that. It's great.
You have, in the last episode, they have a get together between like the remaining Chechens and the Bolivians, and it's like the Bolivians or the Chechens are so goddamn much taller than the Bolivians.
Yeah, yeah. Like another funny thing I wanted to point out is like when the Bolivian leader gets on the phone with Goron, and they end up talking about this like self-help book.
Yeah.
And then later on, they have a transcript or a recording of that call at
They
like the
cut it
police
off.
headquarters. And
They
they're
cut
like,
it off. I was like, "There's another 10 minutes of this whole discussion of this self-help book. It is really good, but we need to go on."
just all that stuff. I'm just like, that's such a funny fucking joke. Oh my god.
They're like they can't get over how nice the Bolivian leader is.
Right.
They're like, well, we have to go to war though. It's like, oh, but you're so nice.
I know, but you did this to me, so now we have to go to war. I'm sorry to say it, but that's how it works.
There's like all these crime bosses are so nice to each other.
I know, I know. It's so great. God, the show is very good.
Yeah, like it's framed like a comedy, but the dramatic moments are so effective
Yeah.
that it's an all-around amazing show.
Yes. Perfect. It's like it's well-rounded in every way.
Yeah.
And I hope the second season really lives up to the first.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can't wait.
Yeah, neither can I. Now I want to just definitely watch it as it's coming out.
For sure.
I'm glad I got to watch all of this at once.
Yeah.
Because like the episodes will like lead you into the next one. And it's like
yeah.
so easy just to binge all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's really great.
Even
It's-
God, Taylor, that fucking the meathead Marine, they make every excuse to make him just the biggest douchebag.
Oh my god!
Even that scene when him and Barry are sitting in his apartment just watching hardcore porn.
Oh, it's so good. Or like when Taylor's up on the hilltop and he's like, "We should get a hot tub out here. Think of all the chicks we could fuck." And fucking Fuchs is like, "I'm gonna be fucking in the car. I can't take this guy any longer." That's so good.
Like, a hot tub is so fucking stupid. And then he's like, "Hey, did Fuchs just say hot tub?"
Oh my god. What would you end up grading Barry?
Oh man, solid A+, man. I love the fucking show. This show.
Yeah.
Like, TV is so above and beyond what I think movies are nowadays, I think. Just because they can do these things where they can draw out these characters, even in a comedy type sense. Like, comedies, I feel like they don't have enough material to draw out to this kind of length of material.
Uh-huh.
But the fact you can make a show like Barry that it's primarily a comedy but throw in those scenes of drama where you do feel for the characters and you do want them to succeed and you do feel bad when something bad happens to them.
Yep.
It's just an all-around like roller coaster of emotion and an amazing fucking show.
Yeah.
So yeah, A+.
Yeah, I would probably also give it an A+. It's the drama elements are great. The comedy is great. It's a very tight show.
Yeah.
Like it does a lot in the time allotted, and it never extends its welcome.
Yeah.
Like I feel like everything is so well thought out about this show that it ends up just being perfect.
Exactly.
So yeah, I would completely wholeheartedly agree that like this is like probably one of the best shows of last year on TV.
Most definitely. I'm so glad you saw it, because I've been like
chiming on about it.
Sitting on this for so long, be like, I can't talk about this show with anyone. I don't know anyone that's watching this.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's so fucking great.
It's borderline perfect show.
Yes. Yes, it is. There are I wouldn't even be able to think of like a weak point of the show.
Yeah. Because the shows are like the episodes are so short. Like they have no time to waste any time.
Right, exactly. So JT, if people want to talk Barry, if they've seen it with you, where could they do so?
Chime in at Bucky41 on Twitter, also Bucky41 on Instagram, and Bucky41 on Snapchat. Troy,
find me at Troy to the Max on Twitter. Find us both at Review Pod on Twitter, where you can also vote for the Tournament of Random Movies.
Got Children Men versus Vacation.
Few days left of that.
Few days left. I think one of them is winning.
One of them, for sure, is in the lead.
One of them is probably in a very commanding lead, maybe.
Very strongly said. You can listen to us on a variety of different platforms, some of them such as Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, a variety of other things, and also Apple Podcasts. If you listen to us there, please rate and review us, because that helps other people find the show if you happen to enjoy the show. And if you want to write in, please do so at reviewpod@gmail.com.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Thursday, we got Us.
Tune in for Us. We'll figure out, is Jordan Peele in a sophomore slump? We'll see.
Boy,
could be, or is he one of the greatest film directors of our time?
That's right. Find out Thursday. But that's going to be the show for this Monday morning.
Yeah.
JT, I'm assuming everyone listened to this Monday morning.
Yeah, everyone. Yeah. if you don't listen to it Monday morning, then we erase it.
Yeah, that's right.
You never get a chance to listen to this ever again
from the internet. But until next time, JT, I have been Troy to the Max Extreme.
I am as well, JT3K.
And we are off.